Hi all, welcome back. It's been a long time. I moved house pretty much and the weather's been crap, as you can maybe hear the howling of the wind, so I've not really come down to the boat. But updates for you. So we are in the middle of, well, the end of day one of quite not a full refit, but a pretty hefty electrical refit for the boat. Got a company from Southampton, or South Coast at least, Poole I think maybe, actually not Southampton, come all the way up here to do all the work. Company called A. Hartnell Marine Electricians. Adam is the guy's name, and him and one of his lads have come up and they are doing some work for me. So I'll run through ever so quickly what they've done now, and then second half of this video I'll show you after they've finished and commissioned everything. So what we're doing, right, so the two ST60s came out. They are being replaced by two brand new I70s. The legacy chart plotter is staying, or the old chart plotter, because it's not actually that old, but the old VHF is coming out and is being replaced by the latest Ray Marine black box, Ray 91. So that black box is replacing the old black box in the engine room, and the new handset is replacing that, and the speaker under there is being replaced with the new one. That means the Ray 91 comes with AIS, so that means we don't need a separate standalone AIS unit that I had in the hole in the middle of a dash. So what we're doing is we put in Axiom 7-inch there, a little 7-inch screen, touch obviously, but we're going to put the remote control dials over the jog dials like this chart plotter has. These controls, you can get them, you'll have seen them on like things, but you can get a little control strip, and we're going to put that here so I can control that plotter without having to lean over the dash when we're in progress. Finally going to replace the manual trim tabs with the automated trim tabs. We're going to get there, and the old searchlight is coming off and is being replaced by a new LED searchlight. So all of that's happening there. All of this is going to be linked, so all the instrumentation data is going to be available on both plotters, as well as radar and everything as well. The DAB stereo that we were fucking around with in a previous video, so the DAB aerial is going to come and is going to be mounted just here on this white patch, just under the window. That means we've got to take that roof panel down above the kitchen and run the DAB along into this box in the corner and then down into there to where the radio is. So we're going to do that for me. We are fitting, well, yeah, I'm sure you've heard me complain previously about the TV aerial abortions in this, and the fact that there's a car stereo aerial put up there for FM. So we're replacing the old TV only Glomex and the car aerial with an actual HD TV and radio, AM and FM, with a booster and a splitter in there. So that will be replaced on the top of the arch up here, fed through, so the stereo and the TV will both have proper boosted aerial sockets. We've tested the batteries are all good, so we're not having to change those. What we are fitting though is a solar panel on the roof and the corresponding Victron battery shunt and monitor and the MPPT, and we're replacing the Sterling charger with a Victron charger. These little lights down here on the stern, these ones that come on at the moment with these deck lights, so even if I switch these deck lights off, look, these little lights stay on. So we're going to change those, and those little lights are going to be rewired to come on with the Wild Rose sign on the garage door opener clicker. All the batteries are being rewired, so we're actually going to have some decent gauge wiring in there, and modern wiring. This is the oil, because between them doing the electrical stuff during the daytime, I'm going to finish off the service in the evening. So that's the engine oil, filter changes and everything. All of this is Seatalk NG and NEMA 2000 cables. So we've now got, except all Seatalk NG actually, because it's all Ray Marine gear, but we've now got two bridges there, and everything will wire back into that. We've got some converters for the old transducers that live in the floor under there somewhere. in the aft cabin, and that's all going to be converted because the old. So this is the old ST60, or one of the old ST60s. So what you had was your transducer came in here on analog, and then this unit repeated across the classic C-Talk network, manually wired, not C-Talk NG. So the new i70s only have C-Talk NG connection. They don't have any analog sensors, and I'm not changing my transducers for C-Talk compatible transducers or NEMA compatible transducers. So what we've had to order is an analog to digital converter, which is not written down anywhere. It's something like an IC5 or something. It's a very marine unit, will convert it anyway. But then that will just broadcast all of the information from the old transducers across this network. So that's fine. So then that'll make the information available not only to the i70s, but also here and on the plot up there. And if I want to put any wind instrumentations on, or digital compass or anything like that, that all plugs into the same box and the same network and is available globally now. So that should be a good upgrade. And obviously I get my AAS from the radio rather than the separate. So it just gives me an extra screen and a bit of a plotter. Obviously we're fixing the engine room, battery electrics as we go. Doing that, we're sorting out with some thermostat on the tube heaters that are in the engine bay, because even when it's 30 degrees outside, if you flick the spur on, the tube heaters come on, so the thermostat's not working correctly. Don't know why. They are going to wire in the sump box for me for the aft cabin. So let me just make my way under here. They're going to fit the stereo, obviously. Sort all out this mess that I hadn't intentionally left out, but there's under the aft cabin, there's this sump box down there that I've been playing around with. We're going to fix that. TV area will come out there, go to there. We're going to look at the fact that this aircon only ever does heat and not cold. And then if we get time, there's a 13 amp socket, a standard domestic socket up there in the cabin right at the back that needs changing for the waterproof one. So that's the plan, and that's the end of day one. There's a few other little bits and pieces that we're going to have to do as we go. Like literally, we forgot about £2 worth of connectors we need, because all this stuff is ridiculous. But we've got it all ordered. We're going to get it all done, and yeah, this is happening because the plan is that all this needs to be ready for next year, because I want to take this down to the South Coast by next summer, and I want to do it on its bum. So yeah, so there's quite a big refit done there. Obviously I'm getting the engines done, and then I'm going to lift it out, give it a clean underneath, get it all freshly anti-fouled, and then hopefully, once the weather allows, over the course of a few weekends or weeks or whatever, we'll get it moved down onto the South Coast, and then I can actually start a much bigger refit where we're going to replace all these roof linings, wall coverings, and maybe even this countertop, maybe change it for something more modern, a more modern square sink rather than round curves. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm seeing what a few people have done with some wrap to modernise everything. I want to do the same. So, end of day one. I will now be back, well, same video, but I'll be back in like literally a second for you. It'll be end of day 5, it'll be the end of the Friday. And hopefully everything's up and running, and I'll fire it all up and I'll be able to show you everything working and everything distributed across the stuff. So stay tuned, back in a second, and let's see how well we've done getting all the jobs done. Yeah, okay, so let me run through some of the things with you. Right, so when I wired in this switch here for the deck lights, the problem was if I leave the deck lights powered up on the internal switch in the cabin, is that these little stern lights, these two here, either side of the stern, were put constantly on because they were wired up to the deck lights. So what we've done is rewired those to the remote controller for here. So now, when I'm walking up to the boat and it's dark, I can press my remote controller, it lights up the name, but it also lights up these two lights, which means that I can see what I'm doing to get on board. They can come on board, and because this will now be powered, all I have to do is push that switch and everything lights up and I can see where I am, and we're all good. So that's job number 1 done. Let's see, job number 2. How can I explain this to you without getting in there yet? Okay, right, yeah, so, job number 2, what else was done? So you will notice we have a new pointy dildo up there. It's a new Glomex AM FM powered aerial with a splitter. So now my TV works, and we've ran a whole new TV aerial down into a cabin to a TV. So I've now actually got TV, which the old aerial didn't work. I've got the aerial, it just, someone had fiddled with the aerial cables, I think I showed you in a previous video, and none of it worked, so that works now. I've got a new spotlight, new searchlight, so the old one was halogen, looked like a dim candle in a breeze. So let's come over here, and we've got the old Glomex aerial and the old halogen spot. I mean, it works, it just wasn't very bright. The new one's LED. I've got the controller there for it, and I also have a remote control, so I can actually manage it with remote control, and it lights up all the way over there as if you stood next to the sun. So yes, I've got that. I've had Sea-Talk NG ran throughout the entire boat down that side and up into the arch. We've also ran Ethernet. Raymarine was a network switch under here to Sea-Talk NG, just under there, backbones. IC5 analog to digital converter, so the old transducers work with the new network and broadcast the stuff. And so the radar dome's up there. And what we've also got is it's not fitted yet, I'll come back to why in a minute, but we have a little Raymarine network camera. Now these things are expensive as hell, but when you feel it, it's solid metal, it's not plastic. It's absolutely solid metal, it's the right bit of kit. And the picture quality is really good, surprisingly, and it's quite a small camera, so I've got that. And that is going to go, we ran all the cables are up in the arch, but that is going to go off here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little arm made coming off that top plate, comes out about 2 foot with another flat plate on it, and then the camera will just point near enough vertically down. So I wanted to actually attach it to the plate that's already there, that top plate, but the searchlight's on underneath. The problem is that this canopy, unlike other boats that would just come straight down, obviously they have these curves, which is great when you're sitting here. It means you've got full headroom, you're not going to hit your head or anything. The problem is that when you've got a camera pointed down, I don't know how I can get that, but what you see is mostly this, rather than what you should be seeing, which is here and these corners. So when you're reversing, you know if you're going to hit, you know if you're going to hit, and you know if you're going to hit. Because obviously I want to see when I'm reversing in there, I want to see this corner that's cleared the end of that pontoon and bring it round and trace it along the side, and then make sure that I don't come back in at full speed and hit this angle in. And likewise, although I've got this pad, I don't want to climb to that. And if I come in this way around, I want to make sure that again my back corner is missing his boat, because if my back corner misses, the rest of the boat misses. So yeah, so we're going to mount on an arm, camera pointing down, will give me full visibility of his back end. So we've done that. We fitted, allow me to open my sunroof. Very slow, it needs a good grease. I'll fix that at some point. If anyone knows what type of grease you need to use for one of these roofs, feel free to tell me. So what we have fitted up here is a solar panel. So I now have a 170 watt solar panel on the roof, and right now, as I record this, the boat is currently running on solar and the mains charger is turned off. So you can see we're generating 18 watts of solar and in bulk charge at 1.2 amps. And yeah, so We've got all that on me, and it's all Victron now, so that's a Victron MPPT. I've also replaced the mains charger, so that's the old Sterling charger. Nothing wrong with it, but I just didn't want to use it, so I've replaced the mains charger with a Victron one as well, a blue power, and the entire battery bank has been rewired. So yeah, so same Victron charger it was on Sally Jane actually. So yeah, but we're on solar at the moment. What else have we done? Right, the big stuff, the important stuff. So some of you might remember a while ago I said I'd bought some new Raymarine kit. Ray 91 VHF with built-in AIS. This now broadcasts its AIS and GPS positional data across the entire network. Replaced the two old ST60s, the analog gauge, well, digital gauges, but take analog inputs only, and then output to normal C-Talk, not C-Talk NG. We've replaced them with these two I70s. This gives me a lot more information at my fingertips, heading, speed, depth, as well as course of ground, and it's all linked together. So like this is a chart plotter, but if I make the chart plotter, assuming brighter or darker, I won't show you in this light, but it also dims everything else because everything's all tied together. We upgraded the chart plotter to Lighthouse 3. So this is an old hybrid touch, it's an ES97, and I've ordered an Axiom Pro 7-inch which is stuck in customs, because this is, if you remember, that's where my old AIS, standalone AIS unit used to be. We're going to replace that with the Axiom 7 Pro. That's stuck in customs in the Netherlands, and I've ordered the remote control joystick control thing here, so I don't have to lean over the dash, particularly if we're in choppy seas, to control it. I can control it all from back here, and it will also allow me to control this plotter, even though this one's actually got the manual dials as well. You try using a touchscreen in the rough sea, particularly if you're leaning over a dash. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, remote control is going there. The new VHF speaker that came with the VHF. Lighthouse 3 on here. It has to be Lighthouse 3 on there. We can't upgrade that to Lighthouse 4, even though it will run it when it arrives, because this won't run Lighthouse 4, only Lighthouse 3. I may replace this with another Axiom Pro, like a 12-inch Axiom Pro, which will actually fill this gap fully. So yeah, so I may replace that, but we're going to see how we get on with this. There's a new bit of trim coming because the old bit of trim's knackered. But all of these are linked together, so all the different options on the i70s. I haven't sorted the engine hours out yet, I'll explain why in a bit, the engine information. But yeah, all of this information is all shared across the network, so whatever this shows, it reads batteries and headings, and the headings all match, so everything's reading from the same data source. We've got the charts, where we've got, you know, our course, our speed over ground, our depth. All our AIS targets are there, so we can see that that's Athena M. Pull up the AIS data, so we've got all the information there. As we can see, it's a fishing vessel, call sign, etc., speed, direction, position, all the information. Yeah, and interestingly enough, Lighthouse 3 has this easy access man overboard button, which was only available here on the older version. But yeah, so it's a little bit slower than in Lighthouse 3 than Lighthouse 2 for doing the charts, but actually it's actually improved some of the charts as well, even though the Navionics charts, but just the way it presents the data and the quality of data. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen I posted a picture of it having the search and rescue plane going over. The old one never used to show that, but the new one does. Obviously, because now everything's on Neiman, and MEA 2K and C-Talk. The Fusion stereo down there is now all hooked in, so I can control my Fusion stereo from here and power it up. Etc. Before I get a security thing, obviously once I've got the camera up and running, I'll have my chart split video. I've got my radar overlays and everything work. Radar's not powered up at the moment, but you know, I've got my chart and my radar and I can split screen it all. So yeah, so all of this is now updated and integrated. Still waiting on a new dash. So we ordered some bits direct from Marine. They've got stuck in customs in the Netherlands. They won't be here until the 20th of November now, so that's Monday. Problem is the guys have had to go back down to Southampton, but they've tidied all the wiring up and everything. It's all ready. I don't know if you saw, but in there when I got the light remote, there's a bunch of wires, so there's additional cables for that. We've also ordered some plates to cover that, a new plate for here and a new plate for covering there, because these just a little bit smaller than the old ST60, so they fall through the holes. So that's done, and then once this plate's here, we're going to fit the auto trim tabs, the Mente Marine trim tabs. So that's done. All the batteries have been rewired. New VHF black boxes in the engine bay, along with the chargers and everything, the AIS splitter, because we're still running the single VHF aerial rather than split VHF aerials. So that's that. We're on solar, obviously we've been through that. I have now a very cool Victron gauge here, which if you've never seen one of these before, I'm hoping you can somehow, there you go. So that's our current battery bank power level. That's how many hours until flat. So I've got 39 hours running on battery alone, bearing in mind it's running all the lights in here. The auxiliary is on, the water pump is on, the fridge is all running off this. VHF, log echo and nav equipment is all running off of it. All the cabin lights are. And that's purely just running off the 12 volt and the solar panel. And yes, I've got 38.9 hours until they go flat. So when you think about it, that's great, because if the solar panel can keep me at even 24 hours worth of battery bank with everything running, that means that I can run on battery all overnight without having to run the generator, and then the solar will just keep me topped up if I'm on anchor without me having to run the generator and disturb everyone again. So I can maybe get away with running the generator for a couple of hours once every 24 or something. 98.6% charge. Now I've been on battery for about 4 hours so far, and yeah, the solar's doing a good job of keeping up. I'm pulling 5.9 amp hours and I'm pulling 70 watts. Yeah, 70 watts, and I'm pulling 5.2 amps. Overall, 13.24 amps in the bank. So yeah, so all that's done. All that's wired in, and all of this, that's wired up to the main battery bank and everything. If I flick the charger on now, that'll power up and start charging me back from the mains. Obviously the Fusion stereo is powered up, it's now remote controlled, but that's all in. And the DAB aerial for the Fusion has been mounted just up there under the windscreen. Yeah, and then I've got a box of leftover bits. So that's it. There's still a few bits and pieces outstanding to do. We always knew it was going to be a guessing game, because I didn't know what we needed until we got here and started pulling stuff apart, so we could find what was already in the boat. But we've got a lot of it done. So the guys are just going to come up for one day just to finish off. There's a problem with the searchlight. It works on remote, but that box, when you plug that box in on the extension cable for it, it falls over. So we think that either that box or the searchlight itself is knackered. So that came from ASAP Supplies. They're going to send us a new one. Obviously the new Marine kit when it arrives to finish off this install, and the panels to finish fitting all that stuff, and then the trim tabs. So they're going to come and do all of that, and then fit the camera as well, and then we're good to go. So that's my electrical refit ready, or instrumentation refit ready. I'm looking forward to getting out and testing it. It's going to be a while though. I don't know if I'll even get a chance before Christmas. I'll try, but it's 17th of November now, so I don't think I'll get a chance with everything going on. But next up for me, service your engines, get it all ready, because next year I want to get it onto South Coast. So if you're watching this and you're in the Southampton area, anywhere near there, Swanwick, Hamble, out like that, if you see a berth that is capable of holding a Sealine S43, so that's 44 foot wide, I want to say 44 foot long, I want to say 14 foot wide. So if you see a berth like that coming up, particularly at a marina that's got diesel and pump out ideally for the black water tanks, That would be really good. Let me know if you are work for a marina and you happen to be watching this. Give me a shout, give me an email. I'll put my email below if you've got anything that in that area that would be suitable for me. Because yeah, I would like to bring this down, ideally on her bum rather than on a lorry, and get her down there to the south coast for next summer. Because next winter I want to do a much more major refit where we're going to tackle the inside of the boat, but and get some engine instrumentation data as well into the chart plotter, fuel flow, etc., stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for now, everyone. I know it's been a while since the last video. I've been very busy, but yeah, that's the state, and I'll just post a little update when the guys come back to finish off the last few little bits, and I'll show you the camera and everything up and working. But yeah, in the meantime, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.